Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Mindcrack server. Been a minute. It has been a minute, hasn't it, folks? We need to get this working. We're today figuring out copper shit. And it's gonna require some bee stuff. Thankfully, I have my handy beehive here with me. Oh! I don't know what's going on here. It's cool. It's berries. Might be some Nintendo thing that I don't immediately know. I know who did this, obviously. It's Sakana. I'm so sorry. I don't know the reference. Maybe I'm stupid. This is very possible. Ugh. But we've reached the point of the quest where everything kind of sucks to make now. So we're doing that. We got these diamonds. We still have a book somewhere. Or book related accessories. That's fine. We can make a book. No problem. Don't mind some obsidian anyway. I've never made an enchanting table myself. I'm gonna check that one off the list. So, you know, it's been a while since the last episode. You made the Denver Nuggets lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. In 7 games, we're up 20 points at home in Game 7, and then stopped making shots. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's a make or miss league, and the Nuggets miss, but the Timberwolves are clearly the better team all series. So, you know, they won several games in obscene blowouts, but people just didn't show up. You know, it's funny. My dad's still so mad, as if, like, you know, 4 years ago, the concept of a Nuggets championship was, like, impossible to even believe that such a thing could be possible. Like, the Nuggets winning a championship was so ridiculous. So the fact that we won last year is a lot easier to swallow. But it's not going to stop me from trolling the Timberwolves a bit, you know. Made a post like saying the way everybody was acting that they won the finals. I mean, I thought they would win the finals too, but that's why I play both sides, so I always come out on top. You know, everybody was going crazy. So I taunted them saying, "Congrats, second round champions." And all Timberwolves fans are like, ugh. You know, they're like, it's not classy to be talking about the Timberwolves. I'm like, listen, I posted this meme on the Nuggets subreddit. I didn't go to the Timberwolves subreddit. I didn't send it to any Timberwolves fans. It's all the Timberwolves fans that are checking out the Nuggets subreddit. Interesting. Seems like, you know, you're not over us either. Of course, they're like, oh, Timberwolves fans are being so nice. They're so nice to Dallas. Look at how nice they're being. I'm going to tell you something right now. Some people might not want to hear it because it's not very nice. It's a lot easier. Timberwolves fans hadn't won a playoff series in 20 years. It's a lot easier to feel good about your season ending when you hadn't won a playoff series in 20 years. Just saying. Everyone knows it. You know, it's a easier pill to swallow, shall we say. Well, at least it gave us 4 blocks of cut copper. I kind of just got to leave some shit out. Just wait for nature. I hate waiting for nature. Yeah, and also Minnesota sports, you know, they're so used to disappointment. Haven't won a major title since 1991 that, you know, in their heart of hearts, they didn't think they'd win anyway. So my dad's so furious. He's like, we just need to, you know... The simple matter of fact is we just got beat. And Nuggets are a really good team. And whether people are a little injured or, you know, who knows. But we got beat. We still have a very good team. We have the best player in the league. Or if Luka wins the championship, some people might say it's Luka, which would be impossible to argue. You know, I think either Luka or Jokic have the claim. You know, another thing your dad's saying is like, well, I mean, if Luka wins the championship, you know, best player in the world wins the championship. It's like, well, I mean, this is going to be 6 teams in a row winning the championship. So, is the best player in the world really changed 6 years in a row? Probably not. I mean, regular season MVPs exist for a reason. Jokic has 3 of them. Luka doesn't have one. I think he should have been second this year over Shea. Just because, look, you see Shea's, like, you know, Shea's cool, but when Luka and Jokic decide to just, you know, go full X gonna give it to you mode, there's not much you can do. Ugh. This is so tough because I'm going to trust that this has a couple more hits left in it. Isn't there a geode down here somewhere? God help me. There's plenty more copper. Probably get to work there. Yeah, you know, look. Nuggets just got beat. So did the Avalanche. You know, for the Avalanche in hockey, you know, when your leading goal scorer to playoffs gets suspended 6 months for failing his, you know, his rehab assignment, essentially, and testing positive for drugs, he was already in the NHL Player Assistance Program. That's tough. And it sucks, you know, the Nuggets were so close, but yeah, I'm not mad about it. Like, but my dad gets mad at sport, like especially basketball, because there's always a play happening in basketball, right? So there's always a lot to get mad at in basketball because it's just so constant. So you guy misses a shot, you want to kill him, and you know, in other sports, there's not much you can. There's not a data point happening as frequently, so it's really rough to watch basketball games sometimes because he just screams, and it's just not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun to be around. Nobody enjoys that. So for a minute I was like, tree? No. Wasn't there a geode? Am I remembering like the previous server? I might be. I have all those amethyst shards. Let's see how long it's been spent in the server. Yeah, I must have gotten those from somewhere. So the Avalanche have lost in the second round in 2019 to San Jose, coached by Pete DeBoer. Lost in 7 games. Lost in the second round in 2020 to the Dallas Stars in 7 games in overtime. Lost in the second round in 2021 to Pete DeBoer and the Vegas Golden Knights. Pete DeBoer's a coach, by the way. Pete DeBoer and the Vegas Golden Knights in 6 games. Won the Stanley Cup in 2022. 2023 lost Seattle Kraken in 7 games. 2024 lost in the second round to Pete DeBoer, who's now the coach of the Dallas Stars, in 6 games. It's just like, ugh. And the Avalanche also tough because their captain hasn't played for 2 years, so that's it's never what you want to see. But I think in the NBA, just the margins are so fine right now. The margins are so fine. So there's so much more talent. I mean, I've been watching NBA for about a decade. I mean, it's significantly more talented in the past decade. Significantly. Yeah, I don't remember there being a geode out here either. Yeah, it's... Oh, hello. There's just so much more I mean, so people are shocked that the Mavericks made it. If the Mavericks win the championship or next year, we went thinking, like, the Mavericks are unstoppable. They're a dynasty. Just like we were saying with the Nuggets. And then, you know, the Mavericks probably lose. Because shit's hard. So... But, you know, as long as we'll be Jokic, as long as Jokic is one of us on the team, we're going to be competitive. Yeah, I don't know where the geode is. That's a problem for another day. I mean, the copper's really the last big thing, and then it's really just like, start going down the list. I mean, yeah, I need honey. And I need to get bees in that beehive. And it doesn't look like there are any. Oy. Can you tell I didn't really have a plan? But I had a time window to record this episode, and I'm so behind in episodes. Oh yeah, we need all the nether brick shit too. Let's do a quick bee search. And then we'll... Okay. Up we go, up we go. So yeah, it stinks. It stinks because most often the way the Nuggets and Avalanche lose, it's like, especially the Avalanche, like always kind of lose in the same way. And always the answer is, well, we're just not tough enough. The tough teams win. But it's like, do they? I mean, the Panthers are, you could say, are a tough team. But the Oilers, I mean, you know, they're in the final. They've got, you know, a ton of people you describe as finesse people. I don't think it was a lack of toughness for the Avalanche. It's a very old man thing to say. So yeah, I have no idea what's gonna happen. It's awesome. The NBA has, some of the most parody in sports. Baseball has the most parody, but a little of that. Hey, buddy, glad you're alive. A little of that, or a lot of the baseball parody, is kind of just playoff randomness, which is fun for sure. But the NBA, I mean, next year, surely everybody's game. The team I haven't mentioned is the Boston Celtics, which has been the most dominant team all season, but they played in the pansy-ass Eastern Conference, home to all the shit teams over in the Eastern Conference. Like, the Knicks were a cool story, but they weren't any good. They swept the Pacers in the finals. I mean, the Mavericks almost swept Minnesota. Pacers were competitive in those games, but also part of you knew that it wasn't real. Hi, B. Where do you live? I require your services. You're here. Please come home, bees. At least one bee. They come in at night? Hope so. I don't know. I don't think there's anything to do to get them to come. I think they do come at night. Okay. Now we start working on the honey. And yeah, it's just gonna be fucking grinded out item by item after this. And will the server get updated to 1.21? Beats me. Theoretically, it should be able to be updated to 1.20.6 now. But I've heard maybe the Mindcrack website itself is down, so odds of the server making it 2025. Not great. So I just totally yeeted a bee's home without any bees in it. Awesome. Now they have 2 hives to work on. Isn't that the dream? 2 hives for the price of 1. I wonder how long it takes copper to weather. I don't know. Well, this shit's unsafe, that's for damn sure. Let's take a sleep. So yeah, predictions. I mean, you have to favor the Celtics. That's everything we know about the Celtics in the finals, but oh, okay. But you got some dogs in Luka, and listen, the Mavericks got Kyrie Irving right after he was being, some anti-Semitism shit. This is perfect with all these flowers for these boys. And somehow it worked out. It ended up working out. He's still wearing, he is part Native American, but he was also saying all this stuff like telling people it was like, oh, I can't even say the titles. It was Hebrews to black people, but it rhymed. It's not the N-word, but I still don't want to say it. He's telling people to watch that. He's saying Earth flat. all this crazy stuff. He's still wearing, his sneakers still look like Native American moccasins, which would potentially be cool if it wasn't Kyrie, who he knew was a whack job, if it was like a Native American player, or maybe like, okay, he is partly Native American, so I was wrong, but if we knew this guy was wearing it just to a concept to his ancestry and also didn't have very weird beliefs like he's the true Jew, we'd be bigger fans. Let's put it that way. We'd be bigger fans. It would be a lot cooler. See, if you're wondering when I'm ever going to organize this, the answer is absolutely not, never. My cold dead hands. We still want things here to be loaded right. Oh, do we have any glowing sacks? Could go back down there and kill those people. Guess that's what we're gonna do, boys. I made an item frame once. Is it sitting in a chest somewhere? Doesn't appear to be here. You can always make another one. Okay. So while we're waiting for copper to oxidize and bees to honey up these hives, we are first going to go back to the root forest. We're gonna get some red mushrooms. Man, it's gonna suck just camping the sniffer until he sniffs out torch flower. I caught him once, and of course I lost the coin flip, so Gonna sniff? Doesn't look like it. So the other problem that, I have a deep hatred of Boston, so I'm rooting for the Mavericks. Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes is a Mavericks fan, so things keep going well for that guy. I recently, this year I've been listening to a brand new hockey show that's helped me get a little more into the hockey community, which I've always struggled with, called What Chaos? Recently joined the very interesting Discord from it. It's mostly fun. People have some weird takes. And, people were hating against, they're like, well, I hate Florida because, Florida's racist, or I hate because the city of Edmonton's racist or something. And one guy who's black was like, family went to Edmonton once, and you could tell that they hated us. It's like, look, obviously I'm not black and all that and what have you, etc. But that's, those things have never been the real reason I'm rooting against a sports team. Because, even in Florida, and especially South Florida, it's still Democratic. And I feel like, a lot of most pro sports fans are. So, yeah, that doesn't really do it for me. Like, I'm not rooting against Florida because of Ron DeSantis, right? Like, I was reading predictions for the NBA Finals, and there was one woman who was like, this will be a terrible, and wow, what a bummer NBA Finals. Jason Kidd, maybe some domestic violence stuff on his record. Kyrie Irving, I forgot what somebody in Boston did that she didn't like. Listen, the Jason Kidd stuff is Jason Kidd sucks. Stuff is probably true, etc. But just sounds like it's so exhausting. Like if you think every team out there is, virtuous in sports, like you're so wrong. Like your favorite team, every sports team probably has at least like one or two players who are, shitty people. That's life. That's life. I just think the attitude where you're always, I'm not saying this stuff isn't important, like especially the Jason Kidd stuff. Like the Mavericks shouldn't have hired him. I mean, at least I'm not an expert on the case or anything, but I don't know. I just find that it's just a very exhausting way to go through life, I suppose. I mean, I think maybe some people. Let me put this. One thing that I feel like I've learned to do, and sometimes it comes to bad, situations in the world, I get super logical about what to do about it. It's not because it's heartless. It's because if I feel it all, it'll kill me, right? Like you can, of course, like you look at all the innocent people, in Gaza, Ukraine, and more places around the world that we just don't talk about. Like, okay, I won't show my ass and be ignorant, but like, isn't like Eritrea the worst? If you focus on all this stuff, it'll destroy you. If you maybe pick one thing to focus on and make that, oh God, I think I've talked about this before, and make that your cause, right? But there's 8 billion people in the world, and I think part of the restlessness of our society today, man, who knew I was talking about this, at 11:30 at night, but I think a big part of it is our society is so good now. Like it's globally, it isn't. I mean, especially of course us very privileged people here in the States, what have you, in Europe, Western Europe, but it has never been a better time to be a human. It is so much nicer to be alive, and I feel like that it accentuates the injustices that still exist around the world, because we're kind of like, but we're so close. Like we're so close. Like if people just stopped hating each other, it's just like we're so close to living this idealized society, and it really rankles you. I mean, people are like, I can't feel good. One guy was like, he's a young guy in the What Chaos Discord, and he's like, I can't focus the NHL because I just went to a thing for Gaza, and I like it's awful, and I'll totally admit I can't read or look at all the photos of the stuff because they'll just destroy me. And I'm not saying that you should ignore it, like absolutely not, but you also have to recognize what you're able to do in the world, and that's focus on making a difference in your community. The people that go out or volunteer, there's people that we call saints for a reason, right? Like it takes I wonder if you guys have figured out why I was bothering to get all this shit. It takes a special person to throw away their privileged life and go to the the poorest parts of the world and dedicate their energy there. Like that's saintly shit, and most of us just don't have it in us, right? But what I'd say is, if you want to get universal metaphysical about it, okay, yeah, you were born in this place in the world. What can you do? Oh my god, I just want to look at suspicious stew recipes. The fandom wiki is just fucking miserable. So, oh wait, do I not have that? That I'll do. Yeah, what is that? There we go. Yippee. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, focus on the shit that the places you can make a difference. And, and when you can protest and be an activist and, take that opportunity. I just think it's not going to help anyone if you are losing your mental health over something you can't control, right? You're not helping you're not helping the people anywhere if that's what you're doing. Hope this doesn't make sense because I do feel the pain. Like, I take the time. Like, I remember, in 2020 with all the George Floyd stuff and people talking about their experiences as black people. I mean, that, got me to the verge of tears and stuff. Oh, cool. We already had this one. Yay. I fucked that up. Yeah. No, I didn't fuck it up. Oh no. Great. So I guess that's what I'm gonna say. There's all-consuming problems. Great. Well, suspicious stews. They're broken. Comp. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother. Yeah, comp, if you're watching this, help a brother out. Let's oxidize faster in the rain. I don't know. Hurrah. So that's my thing. Help in the ways you can and protect your mental health. Because social media, it seems like everything's going wrong in the world, but the truth is things are going more right than they've ever gone right. Just now, social media, we instantly see the horrors going on around the world. I'm reading out these history things and there's always been horrible shit. I'm not saying that to excuse horrible shit in the future, obviously. I'm just saying everything can feel overwhelming and hopeless, but if you look at, the amazing we've done to literacy, infant death rates, poverty, I mean, the world is a significantly better place than it's ever been. You know, the MLK, the long arc of the universe bends toward the moral arc of the universe or whatever bends towards justice. It's true. I seriously think, you know, every year, and sometimes it's, you know, there's always forces, you know, people that are down with it that try and pull us back, and they succeed for a little bit, but they never succeed for long. I mean, just look at where we were from empires and colonization and slavery, and you know, a couple odd 100 years later, you know, we're here in today's society. It's really an incredible rapid improvement. So, yeah. I hope everything that I said made sense. You know, yeah. I just wish people would, you know, stop having wars with each other and killing thousands of people for no reason. I mean, it is depressing, and it's something everybody should be outraged by and depressed and saddened by, and just make you feel a lot luckier that you are one of the lucky ones. So I can't even imagine not being one of the lucky ones, man. I really can't. And what kind of has prompted this reflection this weekend, believe it or not, was a Doctor Who episode. Most recent Doctor Who episode, and I'll have a much fuller accounting in future episodes of this new season of Doctor Who, but called Dot and Bubble, where it's a future planet, and all these people just stay in a literal social media bubble all day. And you kind of notice, I did notice, that all the people were white in the social media bubble, but I was so focused on figuring out what the hell else was going on that kind of slipped my mind as we kept going. And then it turns out at the end, so unlike a lot of episodes, the Doctor is not, a Doctor and a companion aren't the main protagonists of an episode. It's this woman called Lindy who just sees the Doctor. Nope, you do this first. And Ruby, like, on her, you know, bubble social media screen or what have you, as opposed to in the real world. And, you know, it's kind of weird, you know, you think she's just a complete dumb idiot, don't really know what's going on. And then at the end of the episode, she betrays her love interest and lets him get killed to escape. And then the Doctor's like, hey, everybody just load up in the TARDIS and I'll drop you off somewhere good. And then everyone's like, no. And honestly, when I first watched it, I you know, is this because I'm too idealistic and don't think about these things all the time? I think so. I hope it's... I didn't even pick on... I didn't catch on to the fact that they were being racist to the Doctor. I just thought they were being xenophobic and idiots. But no, they were being extremely racist. And Enshudigawa, that's how you actually say his name, as his mother told him he was saying it wrong. Enshudigawa acts it brilliantly, where he's just annoyed and furious and not really just at the fact that these people won't be saved because of their own. Oh boy. Did I even get the honeycomb? No? Oh, it flew out all the way over here. Okay. That's an insane game mechanic. But now, it's a beautiful scene, and you know, Russell T Davies, is the master of shit like this. Okay, and he said, you know, when we cast a black actor as the Doctor, which he's like, you know, we went into this. You know, we could have cast anybody as the Doctor. It was, you know, totally open auditions. You know, a lot of people told him, oh, you know, aren't you gonna have problems with going to the past? And he's like, you know, the past. It's not like racism has stopped. So his way to do the episode showing what has changed for the Doctor now that they're black. I mean, it's very brilliant. It's very brilliant. Unfortunately for me, it doesn't change the fact that, like, you know, a good 75% of that episode is kind of a bit of a slog to get through with this really dumbass girl running around the place. You know, as brilliant as the ending is, that doesn't quite, like, you know, fix that part of it for me. But so, and you know, of course, questions like, well, if you didn't notice all the microaggressions over why, and I mean, I didn't exactly immediately notice all the microaggressions specifically targeted towards the Doctor. I did pick up on that everybody was white, which is the second episode in a row that I noticed something, and then I like kind of subsequently forgot about something. 73 yards, which we'll talk about later. But I mean, that's the kind of episode that, you know, you think it's like a shallow social media satire, and it turns out to be about like class and racism and prejudice. And oh my god, the fandom wiki is abysmal. It's abysmal, darling. Okay. You know, that's what sci-fi can do. That's why Doctor Who's the best show in the world, because it can do absolutely anything. It can be anything. And it frequently is. Hi, TARDIS. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You know, I do kind of want to watch this episode again now to figure out everything, and maybe I'll like it better, because first time watching, just kind of like, oh, dumb girl running into poles because of the social media bubble. And then at the ending, it's like, oh, whoa. Like, I knew she's being mean to Dr. Ruby, but I didn't notice it was specifically worse towards the Doctor. And, you know, I think it's a good time for some reflection. I don't think I didn't notice that because I'm a racist. I think I didn't notice that because as a white guy, it's just something that it didn't even occur. You almost forget that, you know, people can be racist sometimes. You're not expecting it. Well, I think a lot of other people might be expecting, you know, non-white people are maybe always expecting it. I'm like, oh, well, you know, why wouldn't you refuse the Doctor's help? I'm like, are you a fucking moron? Like, I almost doesn't even, you know, occur to me that the Doctor's black and what that means. So that was a very good reminder. I'll take you got me, Russell T Davies. Very good job. Very good job. That's not even getting into 73 yards. And boy, we'll get into 73 yards. So, an episode that is much more difficult to explain, but is basically perfection. So, okay. Let's do it. Let's play the music. 11:69. We got 10 more items. It's a good day. Okay, we got some things to choose from here. Okay. All right. Emperor Manuel the First Komnenos sends an embassy to Egypt. He's the emperor to Byzantines to demand tribute and threatens country with war if they refuse to pay it. And a Byzantine fleet sits out. 60 war galleys are sent to Palestine with money for the air quotes Knights of Jerusalem. King Henry II of England and Louis VII of France signed a peace treaty, which includes the betrothal of their respective heirs, who were 11 and 8 at the time. Very cool. Norman invasion of Ireland. This begins the period of Anglo-Norman dominance of Ireland. Whole bunch of stuff with Saladin doing his cool Saladin stuff in Egypt. The Battle of the Blacks. Battle of the Blacks? Come on. Come on. Come on now. We could I was just spend all this time talking about you can do better than the Battle of the Blacks, guys. Yikes. Crushes a rebellion of Sudanese forces. Never again has to face a military uprising from Cairo. And Eleanor of Aquitaine sets up her own court because screw the king. All right. Well, that episode got weird, but thanks for watching, everyone.